your forecast first. Sponsored by Natax Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Well, throughout our Wednesday, it definitely felt more and also looked more like winter than it did spring throughout our day. We also saw a little bit of wintry precipitation of both rain and snow that fell into the early start of our morning. But as you can see on the satellite and radar, most of that is now to the east of us. But temperatures today, we actually broke a record low temperature of 23 degrees, beating that old record of 26 degrees back from 1943. And temperatures right now still on the chilly side, just below the freezing range in Champaign at 30 degrees, 33 in Mattoon. The warm spot right now at 37 in Effingham, but these temperatures will be falling into the upper 20s throughout our night. But will this precipitation, as far as wintry precipitation, be back for our Thursday? I'll show that to you coming up. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now from WCIA 3 News.
The lying and the covering it up is their fault.
They want answers, as they say their family members are facing an outbreak of COVID-19. Why they say they're being left in the dark.
We're trying to come up with some creative ideas of things that we could give families.
So they did what they're making every 2 weeks. And he's been a major part of the Illini. But how much longer could that last?
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 10.
They are suffering, and it's wrong.
Family members of residents at this long-term care facility in Macon County are outraged after they say there have been lapses in information, misinformation, and lies regarding the facility's COVID-19 outbreak. Good evening, I'm Paul Cicchini. More than half of Macon County's confirmed cases of COVID-19 came from Fairhaven's Senior Living. 5 people in that facility have died. WCIA 3's Emily Braun spoke with family members of COVID-19 patients there who told us their concerns were met with denial and, in some cases, animosity.
Fairhaven Senior Living is home for Kristen Black's brother, who suffered a stroke a few years back. So when she heard there were confirmed COVID-19 cases from a third party, she demanded answers.
At this point, I'm about frantically insane, and I call the administrator, and he finally returns my calls and asks me what he can do to relieve my fears. Basically, there's nothing going on, like I'm an alarmist.
She says the next day, the first death was reported, along with several other cases. Then her brother was diagnosed.
My brother got deathly ill, had seizures, vomited for over a week, but he is recovering. He's only 47.
Another woman I spoke with told me her grandmother, also a resident, died. She was never a confirmed case, but she was experiencing similar symptoms as COVID-19. But this woman didn't feel comfortable sharing her name or image with us because when she tried to speak up before,
I received numerous messages via Facebook, a friend request and or message request, being called a liar. I was a pot stirrer.
When she, just like Black, says she was only seeking solutions.
And I realize it's a Medicaid facility. They struggle as it is. So this has totally overwhelmed them. I don't completely say this is, the facility's fault or the CNA's, or the lying and the covering it up is their fault.
She was assured the public health department will be coming in to help Fairhavens deal with this outbreak, but she just hopes it's not too little, too late.
And I'm definitely going to do whatever I can to get my brother out of there the minute this is lifted.
Indicator, Emily Braun, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Pictures were posted on social media supposedly showing employees of Fairhaven's not demonstrating proper use of personal protective equipment. Macon County Public Health saw those pictures and sent them to IDPH for review. We reached out to the director of nursing at Fairhaven Senior Living. We asked them for comment addressing the concerns of those family members and those pictures. They gave us a statement saying, quote, "We are doing everything we are supposed to do according to the CDC and the Public Health Department." The Department of Public Health announced another 1,300 cases of coronavirus across across the state. That includes 80 additional deaths. The total number of confirmed cases is now more than 24,000, excuse me. There are now 948 total deaths. In central Illinois, there are now 9 cases in Vermilion County. Champaign County has 9 cases and 4 deaths. Would you send an alert every day with updated numbers? To get those numbers and more information about coronavirus where you live, download the WCIA 3 News app. A woman in Champaign is recovering after testing positive for coronavirus. About 3 weeks ago, Natalia Woods says she thought she had an ear infection. She later started running a fever and had severe migraines, body aches, and extreme fatigue. 2 weeks ago, she went to the hospital. She tested for coronavirus, and before her results returned, doctors told her they were sure she had it. She says she's recovering.
They said I wouldn't be able to swallow. I passed the swallow test on the first try. They said because of how dizzy I was, that it would take a very, very long time for me to walk. I walked the next day.
Woods is still having trouble speaking and has no sense of taste or smell. She must stay quarantined for a full 2 weeks before she can consider leaving home. A U of I professor is part of a global team of scientists researching the effects of a COVID-19 symptom. More than 500 researchers from 38 countries are looking into the connection between loss of smell and taste among people with coronavirus. They say the impairment of these senses may be able to predict which people are carriers of the virus. A significant number of patients who test positive for COVID-19 report a sudden loss of the sense of smell and taste without showing common symptoms like a fever and a dry cough. This group's investigation is to determine whether it's a red flag to predict who might be at risk for being contagious.
It seems that to be based on a few data that we have, that COVID is really something that really impacts the sense of smell much more rapidly. And you know, people really talk about losing completely their sense of smell in a very acute phase, very rapidly. But it seems to be like a potential good indicator of who should be screened for COVID-19.
They're collecting data through surveys from people around the world to get a better idea of its effects. For more information on the survey, we'll have a link at WCIA.com. Public health officials in rural Macoupin County are working to contain an early outbreak of COVID-19. Tracking down all of the people who came into contact with sick patients is a tall order for a small staff with a lot of ground to cover. WCIA 3's Mark Maxwell caught up with the public health director at an ambulance service between calls.
We're working an outbreak right now.
Public health officials in rural Macoupin County are tracking down everyone who came into contact with 16 lab-confirmed cases of the coronavirus.
We all work on contact tracing, so once we get a positive, we work very diligently in long hours to try and track everybody that was in contact with that known positive.
If you had contact with a patient sick with COVID-19 48 hours before they started showing symptoms, the county orders you into a mandatory quarantine for 14 days, but finding those people isn't always easy.
Sometimes contact tracing on one case, depending on how many people were in contact with this person, can take us a full 24 hours or more.
But it is time well spent. County Health Director Christy Blank says she's gone 5 days without sleep under this massive workload, but she feels her work has kept others safe.
We can see a very essential reason to focus our time and energy on contact tracing. It is paying off for us, being able to track where the positives are happening, and hopefully we're able to stop it by putting these people in quarantine.
It has very, very much changed the way that we operate.
Josh Ross runs the ambulance service that spans 325 square miles.
Well, people are very leery about going to the hospital unless they absolutely have to, so that's actually had a pretty big impact on our call volume.
Fewer people are calling 911, but when they do, Ross says they're usually in worse shape. It's that fear, the fear of exposure to the coronavirus, Ross and his staff find the courage to overcome every day.
Honestly, we're kind of exhausted mentally. It does. It takes a little bit of a toll. But then, you know, on the back side of things, at the end of the shift, I think there's a lot of anxiety of, you know, did I make sure I protect myself well enough? What am I potentially taking home to my family?
Reporting in Gillespie, Mark Maxwell.
The county public health director says the state just relaxed testing regulations. Starting yesterday, they can now submit COVID-19 tests directly to state labs, a move they hope will speed up the process. Some private labs were taking up to 2 weeks to deliver results. The University of Illinois has a plan on how the campus could help Carle Hospital workers. Right now, 500 students are living in a single residence hall, the Pennsylvania Avenue Residence Hall. The idea is if Carle had to use the ARC as an alternate care facility, PAR is farther away from residence halls that would house hospital workers. The plan with Carle has not been put into use yet. Two Central Illinois salon owners say they are frustrated with the lag in unemployment checks. Julie Smith and Denise Lawson do hair independently. They've been shut down for more than 3 weeks now because they're non-essential businesses. They're both considered independent contractors. Governor Pritzker announced this week those applications won't be processed until May 11th. Both women feel this should have happened much more quickly.
I think they should have started with the ones that could not work, had to close their businesses, or, you know, like the restaurant owners, the waitresses, the cooks, all those people that cannot work, they should have started with us.
The governor's still encouraging independent contractors to apply now. If you're denied, your application will still stay with them and be processed in early May. We have new details on the murder of a 15-year-old in Urbana. Police say they arrested a 16-year-old for the crime. They say the teenager shot and killed Tirius Pettis Saturday night. Happened near Philo Road and Michigan Avenue. Police are not releasing the suspect's name because he's a minor. They believe he was the only shooter, but the investigation is ongoing. And now for an update on remains found in Pavilion County. Investigators say they are human remains. They were found in a field near Indianola Friday. A sample's been sent to the state police lab to test for DNA. The FBI and Christian County Sheriff's Office were investigating at a home in Assumption. A crime scene unit was at the property on Sarah Street today. The FBI and Sheriff's Office employees were taking pictures inside and out of that home. Neither agency would say exactly what they were investigating. Planning for a wedding usually is a hands-on process. Some brides who are still trying on wedding dresses without going into the store. And one center is going the extra mile for families, how they're helping them through this pandemic. And Io DeSumo makes a decision on the NBA draft, what it could mean for the Illini.